Hey guys, new box on the desk. New Kubey box from the desk. New Kubey box on the desk. And when you see a Kubey box that looks like this one, you know you got one of the really good ones. You know, they have different price points for different people, which is really cool. Now, honestly, hey Kubey, I ought to be your official spokesman, because I'm always talking to, if Kubey watches this video, you know? But Kubey, whether you buy the most basic, lowest cost Kubey knife or the fanciest, most expensive, you're getting some of the best quality out there. Like, everything is engineered great. But when you get the stuff in this box, you're getting the premium materials, you're getting really great artistry, and you know, it's a real step up that I think can compete with some of the best brands out there. So let's take a look at what we've got here. Now this is the model KB284. And these ones come in a cool multicam padded pouch. Really like these. You can actually, like, if you're storing, you can store two knives in there at once. You got a microfiber cloth. You've got your little Kubey card. Oh wow, they made it sparkly. It didn't used to be sparkly. Now it's sparkly. Sparkly is nice. And then you've got your knife. Now, just for the sake of irony, we're going to use a Kubey to open the Kubey. This is my by far favorite Kubey knives, and I carry it often. And I actually, you know what? I'll put on the end screen, I'll put a link to the review of this guy. I love this one to death. Now this one is, so, you know, full-on titanium, AUS 10 steel. A lot of people have a very bad impression of AUS 10. It's a really good Japanese steel. Now this is absolutely an EDC intent blade. Titanium, just about everything on here. Titanium backspacer, anodized, titanium clip. Look at the really nice accent, anodized pivot. I love the finish. This probably has, the reason it looks so kind of modeled right now is because it probably just has some oils and stuff on it that we can clean off very, very easily. I saw this one and absolutely fell in love with the design. Relatively new thing that Kubey's doing is putting their designers that they work with, the marks on the blade, which is cool. Number one, I love a sheep's foot type blade. Love it, love it, love it. The only thing I like more than that is a reverse tanto, which is very close to a sheep's foot blade. But this guy is, I mean, this is expensive, I'm not gonna lie. But if you're looking for a high quality EDC, and I've said this before in some videos, if you were to get this exact same thing from, say, ZT, same materials, same blade steel, same size, it would be twice the price as it is coming from Kubey. I don't know if you're gonna be able to see inside here because of the lighting. It's even got millwork. They milled out, so it's like if you don't have liners, but you just have the frame, the full tie frame, they milled out the inside of the frame to lighten it up. That's real machining work. That's like high grade, high quality stuff. And again, mechanics and engineering perfectly centered. I mean, this thing is awesome. Now, there's one thing off the top right here that I'm gonna say, constructive criticism wise. I have big hands, and this is an issue for a lot of people with big hands and a frame lock knife. The way I would naturally hold this, okay, so it looks fine here, but if you turn it over, my fingers are pressing on that lock, and you could have some issues trying to open that because your fingers are now pushing the detent in to the blade. So that's something that you got to be aware of when you're opening a knife like this. And it just means that you got to consciously keep your finger away from that lock. So if you have smaller hands, it's not a problem. If you have larger hands, you either got to train yourself to keep your finger away from it, because see, when I push down on this, it does make it kind of hard to open. If I keep my finger away from it, not a problem at all. I first experienced this issue with a Nemesis knives by Jeff Hall, the Manx, and I emailed the company and said, I don't know what's wrong with it. And I got an email from Jeff Hall himself who said, here's what's going on. Here's where you need to fix yourself a little bit. And has applied to so many knives over time. So that's one thing to consider. Just one thing to consider when you have a small knife like this. But here's the thing. This knife is lightweight. This knife feels great. You can even, I don't know if you can see, so not only do they have a carbide insert for the lock over there, but it extends upwards as an over travel stop, so that you can never bend your lock bar out of place, which means you're never going to jeopardize the lockability, the actual lockup of your knife, which is really, really cool. Another great thing about this design, which just attracted me to it right away, is now you can buy it with different ano colors already done, but a beautiful bead blasted titanium finish like this is just a big blank canvas to do all sorts of custom work that you want. You can cover it up with something like Cerakote if you want, but I wouldn't do that. What you can do though is you can hand anodize this yourself, depending on what kind of heat source you're using. I say ano, what I mean is heat oxidation. I don't want to put my foot in my mouth and walk into that bear trap again. But what you can do is you can do some tiger stripes. You can do a rainbowish pattern. You can do all one color you want. Or yeah, you can actually electro anodize this as well. This is just a beautiful, gorgeous knife. I love the simplicity of it. By the way, if you look from overhead, do you see that bump over there? That's your travel stop. Do you see how large? I mean, it doesn't look like it's a big piece when you look in here. That's a really hefty. Oh, see the blade is so well done that it just, as soon as I release it, it wants to just close. It's a really chunky, hefty travel stop. I mean, the bearings on this are phenomenal. Detent, very strong. Oh, I just got to keep myself from putting my fingers where it prevents the blade from opening. Nice, crisp action. It is going to take a little time to get used to doing this one-handed, but I know that ZT charges 3 times the price of this for a knife that is half the size of this. Now, it does come with a slightly, I'll say, more premium, superior blade steel than this one does. AUS 10 is a great blade. It is a really good blade steel. It's not highest end. It's a higher end. It's not the highest end you can get. But AUS 10 actually is, like I said, it's a Japanese blade steel. A lot of people confuse the AUS, the AUS steels, as a Chinese steel. It's not. It's actually a Japanese steel. And it's a very good Japanese steel for the applications you should use it for. As an EDC steel, very, very good. Very good corrosion resistance, holds an edge really well. I wouldn't use it as like a field knife, as like a survival knife or a hard use steel, but for in the kitchen setting, in an EDC setting, AUS 8 that's been cryo treated or AUS 10 that's been heat treated well is going to make a phenomenal blade for you. This one, right out of the package, cannot feel it cutting this at all. There's something so satisfying about just that feel when a knife is done right and you're just letting it drop and you cannot feel that blade cut. It's like you're just dropping it through the air. I love that feeling. Just take a look at it. I think some people might be a little put off by the over-stylized thumb hole triangle there. I don't mind. In terms of feel, though, so again, small. See how it kind of disappears in my hand? Not my favorite feel, but you do get a great grip. This jimping is awesome up here. The way the choil kind of fits, 2-finger lock. I mean, it's solid right there. You got a great grip on it. I love, again, the blade style on this is great for your EDC type tasks. Just nice sweeping straight edge belly, no serrations. I really think serrations have run their course. More and more I'm meeting and talking with people that just are like, you know, they have no need for serrations. I don't know. I know some people still like serrated blades. I don't. I love a nice fine edge. There's a point early in my military career where I thought a semi-serrated blade looked tough somehow, and then I started to realize that, you know, I think you get better utility out of a nice fine edge all the way across. Clip actually has a nice amount of give to it, so it's not going to shred your pocket up too much. You're going to be able to get that in and out. Now you will notice that it is right hand tip up only, which suits my purposes just fine, but no options for anyone else out there. I absolutely love this design from Kubey. Now I would think, you know, just spitballing here, with the price tag attached to this, it wouldn't surprise me if Kubey were to sooner or later run a lower cost option for this, maybe with G10 with liners, either with the same blade steel or maybe a 9CR13 type, because this is it is a really nice feeling knife. It really does feel good, even though it's a little bit small. That clip is just, if you see the contouring on it, you can't feel it in your hands at all. It really, it melts away when you're holding it. No problem getting to that lock. The chamfer right there feels good. No thumb wear or anything. Action on it is great. What I haven't also touched on is the look of that blasted finish. I don't mean blasted like in Star Wars, that blasted finish, no, but I mean like the bead blast finish on both the handle and the blade are gorgeous. And a blade size, by the way, that is legal just about anywhere. Just about, too. I mean, if you care about that kind of stuff. This is going to get pocket time for sure. For sure. Great, great knife. I mean, I can't wait to actually put it into action, carry it around. And you know, the other thing is, by the way, just jumping into, it's, you know, this has come up in some comments. I mentioned it before, I haven't talked about it in a while. It's the kind of knife that's not going to make muggles just kind of like, oh my god, what a scary weapon of destruction you have. You know, you have to pull it out in public to, like, you know, just cut or whatever. And it's not the kind of thing that's going to make the non-knife people among us freak out. You know, it's a nice subtle look, but not that I overly care about their feelings, but it's nice to save yourself a hassle now and then when you can. So, what do you guys think? What would you guys compare this to from some of the brands with like bigger name recognition? What do you think it stacks up compared to? I actually cannot wait to carry this around and actually get some use out of it. I'm really excited. And of course, excited to see your comments on it. So, your turn, guys. Go. And while you're doing that, remember, you are all absolutely awesome. I appreciate every single one of you. And I will be back again real soon.